Hello. Did Saul change his name to Paul? In Acts 13:9 we read, Solos de hokai Paulos, plestes pneumatos hagiou atenisas eis auton. Then Saul, who was also called Paul, filled with the Holy Spirit, looked straight at Elymas. And so we notice this hokai here, which is equivalent to what we say in English, aka, also known as. So commentators and preachers often tell us that Saul changed his name hereabouts to Paul. They evidently get this idea because up to now in the book of Acts he's been called Saul, but from now on in the book he's called Paul. However, he didn't change his name. The truth was stated by F.F. Bruce, the venerable old commentator who's always worth reading, in his commentary on Acts, on this verse, Acts 13:9. Here both his Jewish and Gentile names are given, and henceforth, as the environment is mainly Gentile, he is known by his Roman name. So he had a Roman name already, as well as his Jewish name. As he was a Roman citizen, Paul, or Paulus in its Latin form, must have been his cognomen, family name. What his other two names may have been, we cannot say. Here is an example of a Roman citizen's full name: praenomen, nomen, and cognomen. So cognomen is like what we'd call family name. Nowhere in the New Testament is anyone known by all three of his or her names. In Acts 13:7 we hear about the proconsul Sergius Paulus, whose full name might have been Lucius Sergius Paulus. But what is also concealed in our English translations is that Paul the Apostle and the proconsul here mentioned share the same name, the cognomen, the family name. English translations conceal this because the Latin ending us, in Greek it's os, is dropped from the apostle's name, but not from the proconsul's. So the proconsul is called Paulus and the apostle is called Paul, making the readers think the names are different. In fact, they are exactly the same as we see in the Greek, Paulos. So the Greek of Acts 13:9 can be taken in two senses. It can be taken to mean Saul had the name Paul too. Saul was his Hebrew name and Paul his Roman name, as discussed above. Or it can be taken to mean Saul had the name Paul too, like the proconsul just mentioned. Evidently, the apostle was proud of his Roman name, and we see in the book of Acts how he always got fair treatment from the Romans. This is somewhat ironic. The occupying force treats him better than his fellow countrymen. And in Acts 13:21, he's proud of his namesake and fellow tribesman, the first king of Israel, who he notes was king for 40 years, and he doesn't mention his faults. Here's a general comment. Names are a problem in translation because they change their form when taken into a new language to accommodate the sound system of the new language. So Matthias in Acts 1:13 is rendered Matthew in all English versions, whereas this very similar name is rendered Matthias. So that conceals the fact that those names are very similar in Greek. And here's an interesting one. Jude, Judah, and Judas are all the same name in Greek, despite our English versions making them into three different names. And the name just means Jew. The names became different for various historical reasons, and now it's impossible to change them. Okay, so I hope that was of interest to anyone who may be viewing this video, who may also be interested to know that although I haven't recorded any new videos for almost a year, I've got several now in the pipeline, so watch this space.